Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Learn with Optmyzr. I'm Sukanya and I have my colleague Dheeraj with me for today's session. We are a part of the product team at Optmyzr and today we'll be speaking about the Google Ads Performance Max campaigns. So, what exactly about the Performance Max campaigns? It has been more than a year since Google Ads introduced the most automated campaign type in its portfolio of campaigns, the Performance Max. Performance Max came with the promise of building just one campaign that will take care of serving ads across all Google channels, may it be search, display, shopping, discovery, Gmail, and all of it together. It also came with the promise of cutting down the amount of work required for an advertiser to set up a campaign and get their ads up and running. You just give Google with some basic inputs like your marketing objectives and goals, your budget, creative assets like images, text, optional videos, geo-targets, and optional feeds like Google My Business, or if you're running a PMax retail campaign, then your Google Merchant Center. And the artificial intelligence in Google is all set to create good ads and serve them to a relevant audience. But from the feedback that we have heard from PPC experts or advertisers to the social media channels, and even our own personal interactions with Optimizer customers, we realize that there is one section of the advertisers who have now found their own sweet spot of managing the performance max campaigns or getting good conversions, while the other section is still going on with extensive experiments to find that place where they get the expected business outcomes from their performance max campaigns. So the idea is wherever you might be in your PMax journey, it is no denying of the fact rather that uh, they are not 100% automated. You always need to provide Google with good data and also perform regular value focused optimizations in order to help Google understand what your business really wants from the performance max campaigns or what a conversion actually means for your business. So today in today's session we will focus on the different or the set of tools that we have built in Optimizer to help you take back the control of your performance max campaigns. So in today's agenda, we will basically categorize into three themes of monitoring and insights, the set of optimizations that you can do, and PMax for retail. Dheeraj would particularly be speaking about how you can manage your PMax retail campaigns uh, more closely and optimize them. And then uh, what we'll do granularly is at first we'll be looking at the different alerts that you can set up for your campaigns and how you can dig deeper into the changes that you got those alerts for. Then audits for PMax campaigns to see if they're structured and are in sync with the industry level best practices. If your merchant feed is optimized enough, and how you can analyze your product's performance to build a better PMax retail campaign. We'll also see how you can manage your landing pages better or analyze their performance. And we'll look into how you can get the channel wise performance data for your PMax campaigns. In terms of optimizations, we'll look into how you can look at the projections for your budget and manage the current budget effectively, how you can add an audience signal to the PMax asset groups that do not have any at the moment. Even we'll see how you can cut down on your wasted spend in terms of the display placements by excluding the non-converting placements at the account level and experimenting effectively to find the winners faster in the journey. For PMax Retail, we'll look into how you can build the PMax Retail campaigns from scratch they ensure that you keep them updated or in complete sync with any changes in your merchant center, and also how to uh, exclude the non-performing listing groups. So without any further ado, we'll move to the optimizer interface and we'll start with the alerts. So alerts have always been an important factor in terms of all in terms of PPC management, in terms of your traditional campaigns. And when it comes to performance max campaigns, given the black box, it still is. Alerts get the importance of alerts get more intensified. The alert management system at Optmyzr exactly helps you take care of this situation. So from the insights menu on the left, you can find the alerts section, and from here you can go ahead and create new alert to help manage your performance max campaigns. You need to select the account for which you are managing the performance max campaigns for. So let's quickly select the account and the level. So say if you would like to manage alerts for all your performance max campaigns together in a particular account, you can select campaign type and choose to go ahead and work with your performance max campaigns only, which will actually club all your performance max campaigns in the account together. Or you can also choose to do this for some performance max campaigns in the account selectively, and you just choose those performance max campaigns that you want to work with. Once you've selected them, you can choose the metric that you want to monitor. So say you'd like to stay at the top of the cost per conversion. Okay, so say let's choose the cost per conversion, and you'd like to get notified if the cost per conversion goes beyond $10. You can go ahead and add this alert, and anytime for the campaigns that you are looking here, the cost per conversion goes beyond 10, you would be notified about that. You'll receive an email about it, and you'll also so not only will you receive an email, but you'll also uh, get real-time alerts over Slack or Microsoft Teams. If you're using it, you can also choose to get those alerts there in real time. Now, moving forward, we also, from these alerts that you have received, if you would like to dig deeper and see why these changes have actually occurred in the first place, you can go ahead and do that with another tool from the Insights section, which is PPC Investigator. PPC Investigator exactly helps you answer a question that why a particular metric has performed in a way, what were the underlying metrics that actually led to that particular change. And you can also dig deeper to see what exact entities in your account that actually contributed to that change. So you can go ahead and filter this entire selection to show or to see the perf- uh, performance metric change for your performance max campaigns only. Once you've selected that, you'll be able to see this cost chart, how the conversions have improved in the last 30 days compared to the previous period, and what were those underlying metrics that actually led to that change. Clicking on this, the root cause analysis will also give you more detailed information about what exactly those entities are, like say a mobile devices with full browsers and how they have contributed towards this change in the metric. This is how you can get a closer look into how there has been a change in the performance of the perform PMax campaigns, and what are the underlying entities that are contributing to that. So this type of insights would help you better optimize your PMax campaign's performance. Now, moving on to the next is audits. So, regularly auditing your campaign structure to ensure that they are performing to their fullest potential is a general PPC practice and is also important for Performance Max. In our audits section in Optmyzr, which you can find from the insights and PPC policy and audits over here, there is a separate section for Performance Max that we have recently introduced that gives you a list of audits that helps you understand if your Performance Max campaigns are structured in sync with the best practices. Say the Performance Max campaign is very asset heavy, where most of the work on the advertiser's part is to provide Google with a good quantity and quality of assets. So these audits actually helps you understand if some of your asset groups have too few headlines or too few long headlines or image assets or logo assets, some of the very basic assets that you should provide Google Ads with so that they can run your performance max campaigns to their best potential. Now, here you can go ahead and define what exactly is few for you. And once you've defined that, you can automate this audit to run, say, every week or every month and give you a report that these are the particular assets that you have in lesser quantity in some of the asset groups. And then you can come back and then you can go ahead and make sure that you fill those asset groups with the stipulated amount of assets that you want them to be there. The other audit over here is for looking into assets with low performance levels. Now, Google Ads give a rating to your assets after they have performed for a certain period of time. The idea is to compare that asset against similar assets and give a rating uh, that actually signifies how it has been performing against them. When it is low, it means that they are not performing as good as they should have in comparison to the other assets of the same time across properties. So it's a good idea to see to take a closer look at those assets and say uh, replace them with other high performing similar assets or make edits to them, or if you want you can go ahead and remove them if they have not performed well for a prolonged period of time. And then we have the audit to see asset groups with no audience signal. So, audience signal, as the name suggests, is particularly important to provide your PMax campaigns with when you're starting off the PMax campaign. It nudges Google Ads to target those audiences that you actually want to reach to begin with. And from the results page of the audits, you'll be able to see exactly, say, there is one asset group with no audience signal. You can see which exactly are those asset groups that do not have an audience signal currently. Now, you can use an optimizer express to go ahead and quickly add that to your um, asset group, to add that audience signal to your asset group. From the optimization section, if you go to Optimizer Express here, then you will find one express type, which is PMax asset groups with no audience signal. This particular express actually helps you to see across accounts those asset groups that do not have an audience signal and helps you create an audience signal very quickly. So, clicking on Add Audience, you'll be able to see any existing audience signals in your account that are already present, and you can choose to add them from here. Or you can also create a new audience signal from scratch in Optimizer. You can name it. So, let me just name the audience signal, and then you have this two option: people with any of these interests or purchase intentions, where basically you will be able to see the list of people with a specific interest or purchase intention that you have defined in your Google Ads already. You can go ahead with them, or you can also choose to create a custom segment from the search terms. So what we do is we show you a curated list of high performing search terms across your account over here, and you can go ahead and choose them. You can name that segment, and you can also enter your own search terms, like if you want to enter something manually, and you can go ahead and do that. And then if you click on create a segment, the segment gets created, and you can also go ahead and create the audience in the similar way. Once you've created it, you'll be able to add it to the asset group from here. And then this audience signal actually gets added to this asset group. So this is the entire process is very quick, where you can just figure out those asset groups that do not have an audience signal, and very quickly go ahead and create them from the express. And uh, finally, we have an audit for campaigns with final URL expansion turned off. So this is a capability in Performance Max campaigns, where if you turn on the final URL expansion for your PMax campaign, then Google gets this flexibility to show your ads to the most relevant website page. Uh, and it does not have always stick it does not need to stick to one final URL all the times. So that increases the flexibility of Google Ads, but it also comes with a share of optimization that you need to do in terms of your landing pages, because if all the landing pages are not well optimized enough, then it's not a good idea to go ahead and let Google show or let Google choose the exact landing page. For that, you can also use the landing page analysis tool from Insights section over here, that actually helps you see all your landing pages performance. What this tool exactly does is it accrues the performance data of the landing pages, and you can choose to do it again for your performance max campaigns particularly, and see how the landing pages have performed um, for that period of time. You'll be able to see if some of the landing pages have performed really good, or if some of the landing pages are not performing as expected from here. Now, from this particular insight, you can go ahead and optimize the settings of final URL expansion, which also allows you to specifically exclude certain websites from not being shown. So if you see, there is from here, if you get the insight that some of the URLs not performing as expected and you need to optimize them, you can go ahead and um, put those URLs exclude under exclusion part of the final URL expansion setting. So this way you can always stay informed about which landing pages are not performing as expected, and then you can use the ones that are already performing good to take some cues from them and ensure to optimize the ones that are not performing well. So these are the entire section of um, performance max audits that you can automate to run uh, and get a report of, to always stay at the top of how your performance max campaigns are structured and if they need any change from the results.
So, in case you are an e-commerce advertiser, one of the very few things that you can control, and one of the very most important things that you can control for your PMax campaigns, is your Google Merchant Center feeds. So these feeds contain all your product data, and if you can get them to be at their most optimized state, Google is then going to use this feed and show your ads accordingly, which will directly impact your ads. So we have curated this tool under the Insights section called Shopping Feed Audits, which basically analyzes your merchant center feeds and gives you recommendations of improving any of your columns in your feed, or it also finds out columns that may be empty for your page. So for example, you can see these are the different sections of audits that we have. So if, let's say, you want to look at your basic product data, you can check if the links, your descriptions, titles are present, or if they're empty. If you're an, let's say, an electronics advertiser, you can actually see if your GTIN is empty or your brand is empty, and so on. So you can actually look at what values are empty, and if, based on which fields are most mandatory for your business, you can find out if there are products that are missing those values and correct those. We also give you recommendations if there are opportunities of improving, say, your product titles, where, let's say, if you don't have the brand in the product title or something like that, you can have a very quick look as well. And at the product level, you can also have a very quick look at what your benchmark, if there are products that are that have a benchmark price which is higher than which has a price higher than the benchmark price of that product. Also, if you want to know which products are disapproved, you can have a very quick look at those as well. So you can quickly run these audit, and it will give you a report which will look something like this, where your different sections will be rated on a scale of A to C. So A being the best. So if there are values that are in good shape, you can see those. And if there are any particular issues that we can spot, we will be highlighting them. Like in this case, you can see that the brands are missing from the titles, and we list down the products. You can see them very quickly. And also, if there are important values that you might be wanting to have in your feed by default, but they are empty, you can have a very quick look at them as well. You can also download this list to see which products are missing these, and you can go ahead and fix them. So you can also schedule this if you would like to get this report on a regular basis. You can schedule it to run automatically and send you a report on multiple emails, let's say. Now, once you have analyzed your feed, the another thing that you can very quickly have a look at is how your products are performing. So the shopping analysis tool under the insights section actually helps you to very quickly have an anal- or very quickly analyze your products based on the different attributes on the feed or performance metrics as well. So you can actually see how different ROAS or what are the different ROAS ranges your products have, or conversions, or you can see what different brands perform like, or what different product types are performing like. You can use both standard attributes and other feed attributes. So let's say for this example, you want to see how products in different price ranges are performing. So you can very quickly select price, and you can say aggregate data by that particular metric or attribute, and you can see you'll be able to get a very quick overview of how different ranges or different values of that particular attribute or metric are performing like. So you can see very quickly the performance data and have a very good review on those as well.
The next insight that you can get for PMax channel distribution is from the account dashboard in Optmyzr. You can see how the budget of your performance max campaigns have been spent across channels. So this entire idea started from a PPC town hall that we had with Web Savvy CEO uh, Mike Rhodes, where he introduced us with his very cool script that he had that helped us see how the performance metrics of PMax campaigns actually can be distributed across channels. We did take some inspiration from that, and then we used certain API reports or different API reports across channels to build this small cool stuff where you can actually see how the different performance metrics, so say the cost or clicks, conversion value, impressions, have have been spread across the different channels of performance max, shopping, display, video, and others, where others consist of search, Gmail, Maps, Discovery, and the rest of the channels. So this actually gives you a very quick insight on how your performance max campaigns are accruing uh, conversions, or there's a particular channel that is leading to some wasted spend. And this analysis is for all the performance max campaigns in the account. Now you can dig deeper clicking on the view full table, where you get a more um, detailed view of the campaigns, this entire classification of data at the campaign level. So you can go ahead and change the performance metrics from here also, and see what performance metrics have been accrued in which particular channel for particular campaign. So this particular data actually helps you understand if you need to optimize your performance campaigns in terms of assets for a particular channel. So say if you're seeing a vested display spend for some campaigns, you can just go ahead and ensure or see that if your display assets like your images or videos are in place, you need to change something from that. So that additional insight which this channel wise classification you will not be able to get in Google Ads. You can get it here very quickly from the Optmyzr account dashboard. So this is a very quick way you can see the channel wise data of your Performance Max campaigns and more take further optimization decisions. Now, going forward, the next piece of optimization that we wanted to talk about is also taking control of the budget of your Performance Max campaigns. So, how exactly you do that is the first thing is also an insight in terms of budget, which is spend projection tool from the insights section. This tool looks at your spend data, any historical seasonality, and current performance of the campaigns, and it gives you an estimate of how your Performance Max campaign is scheduled, or how your Performance Max campaign will be spending for the rest of the month, or the budget cycle that you choose from here. So from the campaign selector, when you go ahead and select only the Performance Max campaigns, this tool shows you um, and of course you do put a simulation budget, or rather your target budget of how much you would like to spend on your Performance Max campaigns for this month currently. uh, you'll be able to get this projection from here, that how your Performance Max is about to spend for the rest of the month. And also you get a more granular analysis of day to day spend, where we also consider a range of spend. So there can be some sudden deviations. We take that into consideration and give you an estimate of the projection for a minimum value to a maximum value, and go, uh, how the spend can change through that. So this gives you very quick insights about if your Performance Max campaigns are underspending and you need to push them, and if there is a case where they're overspending and you need to manage them better. So this kind of budget projection this tool gives you. Now you can also go ahead and use another tool in Optmyzr for budgets under optimizations, and optimize budgets across platforms. This particular tool helps you to create a budget group, which is basically if you would like to ensure that your performance, a set of your Performance Max campaigns do not overspend, and they can be automatically paused after they reach a particular spend, and then they can also be re-enabled automatically at the end of that particular budget cycle. So how you can create that budget group is quickly from the PPC Client Manager. If you go ahead and create a client from here, I'll quickly rename this as PMax budget group. And the cool thing over here is you can do this across accounts. So, say if you're managing 2 or 3 Google Ads accounts together, and you'd like to club the PMax budget of those accounts together, you can just go ahead and select these accounts from here, and then you can choose the PMax budget groups from those accounts. So, I'll quickly choose one account. You can select multiple accounts from here. Uh, and then I'll go next. Okay, I'll just do the other settings. Select currency for the budget group and the time zone. And the budget group is ready to be saved. Now, once you have saved this, and you can go ahead and find it from here, manage budgets for your PPC clients. So once I have created the budget group from the client manager, if I go to the optimize budget across platforms tool, then I'll be able to find that budget group over here, the PMax budget group. Now I can go ahead and clicking on the view and manage budget groups. I'll be able to select those exact budgets I want to work with from here. So from here, say I would only like to look at the performance max. I can type in performance max in the search and select only the performance max budgets from here. So the budget group will consist of only the PMax campaigns. And now, as I mentioned earlier, you can also do it for a couple of accounts or more accounts together to manage the PMax campaigns across accounts. Now I put the value, like say I put 500 USD for the month, and then clicking on checking this box, pause campaigns when it has exceeded the aggregated cost. It will ensure that when for the month 500 USD is crossed for all these PMax campaigns together, this all these PMax campaigns will be paused, and at the start of the next budget cycle, say next month, they will be automatically re-enabled. You can also uh, by choosing that option, you can ensure that uh, they are automatically re-enabled. And you'll also receive an email when your target budget is hit, and you'll also receive these emails when some portions of your target budget is hit, like say when it's 50% of 500 or when it's 75% of 500. You'll be receiving an email for that also. And then when it's 500, the budget group will be stopped, which means your campaigns will stop operating then, and they will be re-enabled again at the next budget cycle. Now once I save it and I come out of this, I'll also be able to see this budget group now in a tabular format when I update it. And from here, you will be able to see uh, the budgets for this PMax campaigns. And you can also choose to manually enter some budget amount if you want to change the budgets from here. This way, it will ensure that if your uh, budget is overspending, then they are automatically paused. So this is a way you can uh, better manage your PMax budgets and ensure that they are not overspending at any point in time. So this was about managing the budgets for your performance max campaigns. Now, as we were discussing a while back about the channel-wise distribution of data, where if you see some channels, say a display channel is uh, taking a lot more of your spend in the PMax campaigns, then it is probably a wiser decision to go ahead and remove some placements. Now, the constraint in terms of removing placements from for PMax is that you cannot do that at the campaign level. The placements cannot be removed at the cannot be excluded at the campaign level. So the only thing to do in such scenarios is to exclude them at the account level, so that the PMax campaigns do respect the account level exclusions, and it will ensure that they do not show up in those placements. So in order to do that, you can use Optmyzr's uh, tool from optimization section. If you go to placements, you'll be able to find the account level placement exclusion tool over here, which exactly helps you do that. It will show a list of placements that are spending some money but they have not received any conversions, and probably they're not a good place to show your ads on. In that case, you can just go ahead and select them from here, and clicking on apply suggestions will ensure they are excluded from the account from here. Now this is a strategy that was created out of rule engine being Optmyzr's one of the flagship tools that helps you automate strategies for managing different areas of your accounts. So clicking on the view strategy will actually take you to the rule engine strategy from where the tool has been actually built. So over here, you'll be able to see the exact rule from here. If you want to go ahead and make some changes, like say um, it has more than 10 cost, the minimum cost is 10 over here, and you want to put it to 20, or you want to make any changes from here, say the view through conversions has been 0 in the last 90 days, but you want to change it to something, a value more than that, you can just go ahead and do that. basically tweak the strategy to your own in order to get more customized suggestions. Also, the other thing is using the Express tool over here, you can get a very quick list of suggestions for exclusions in terms of your PMax campaigns. So if you go to the placement section here, we have an we have some excluding low performing placements, say mobile app placements or website placements for PMax, which basically is refers to excluding them at the account level. So this is something that you can try out that actually helps you to exclude some placements at the account level and ensure that your PMax campaigns are not running over on those particular placements. Now, after you are done with optimizing in terms of the cost for your expensive placements, the next thing that I want to move to is creating experiments. Now, traditionally, it has always been a good way to make a wiser decision by running experiments and seeing how they're performing, and then actually changing them to real campaigns, real ad variations. What Google Ads have recently given us is under the experiments section in Google Ads interface on the left hand side navigation menu, you'll find a new option of creating PMax experiments, where you can actually create different variations of your PMax campaigns. Or also, the good thing is you can create a PMax campaign as an experiment, run it for some time, see how it is performing, and then actually turn it to a real campaign. So after you have created that campaign from created that PMax experiment from Google Ads interface, using Optmyzr's campaign experiments tool from the optimization section over here, what you can do is this is a very cool place from where you can see all the experiments across all your connected accounts to Optmyzr in one place. The entire idea for this tool is to ensure managing your experiments better. Here, you will be able to see all your running experiments across accounts in one go, and we also help you take the decision of whether to continue with your experiment or annulling the experiment more easier. Like from here, if you see the recommendation where you will be able under against the campaign experiment name, we give this analysis from our side that if you should graduate that experiment or if you should continue with that experiment to still accrue data until it has received statistical significance. From here, you can also see more performance data for the experiment, how the um, experiment is running against the control, what is the difference, and we also show some confidence level based on very important performance metrics. So say ROAS, this particular experiment, the system is 100% confident that in terms of ROAS, the experiment is winning over the control campaign. From here, if you'd like to make a decision about how you'd like to go about with your experiment, you can also take an action very quickly to update your original campaign, to convert the experiment to a new campaign, or even end the experiment if you wanted so. So this entire process of creating the PMax experiment and then um, coming to Optmyzr and ensuring that the entire analysis of the experiment and taking the decision with the experiment gets easier is something that you can do with campaign experiments over here. This will help you make better decisions for your PMax campaigns. Now, from here, uh, we would move towards a little more retail, given e-commerce is at the heart of PMax, and Dheeraj will again take you to the through the entire process of creating PMax retail campaigns in Optmyzr and how you can manage it through Optmyzr, the entire life cycle of PMax campaigns, PMax retail campaigns rather.
So, if you're an e-commerce advertiser, building your campaigns with the projects in your merchant center and building your assets can be a really tiring step for all your different products or multiple clients that you may be managing. So, our solutions for shopping campaigns, the shopping campaign builder and refresher, help you to do that very easily uh, using Optmyzr. So I'll very quickly walk you through how you can create your Emacs retail campaigns. Uh, very quickly. So you can just go ahead by starting to select a merchant feed. Once you've done that, you can have a very quick look at the feed. Uh, this tells you, using the feed analysis, it tells you what attributes have how many variations of values in them. So you can plan accordingly as to how many campaigns you would like to create, how many asset groups you would like to create, and so on. So you can have a very quick look at that, and we can move forward. You can choose create PMax retail campaigns, and then you can choose the hierarchy of your choice or the structure of your choice. Now, in this case, I can see that I have a lot of uh, brand. So if I create campaigns by brand, that would not be a very feasible solution for this particular uh, account. So what I can do is I can have a look at another uh, strategy of creating campaigns. So I can see that I have 17 different Google categories. So I can basically structure my campaigns using Google categories. So that is what I'm going to use for this example. So I'll say Google category 0 and Google category 1. So, and I can also say create multiple campaigns by Google category 0. And you can also say create multiple asset groups for every combination of, let's say, Google category 0 and Google category 1. Now, if you'd like to go more granular, and of course, the limits of PMax campaigns support that, you can also add item ID to the structure. So if you'd like to have each product or each listing group with only one product inside it, you can also add item ID to this hierarchy. And then you can move forward, and you can choose whether you would like to create a feed only PMax campaign, or you would like to create PMax campaigns with both feed and assets. So this is your choice as to how you would like your campaigns to be running, without assets or with assets. So if you do not wish to create any assets, you can just move ahead with the first option, and that would work perfectly fine. But if, let's say, you would like to create assets as well, you can choose the second option, and you can move forward, where we present you with a template based approach, where you can define one template that will be applied to the different asset groups that we will create. So now you can have a final URL entered here. Now, so I'll just use a random example here. And you can choose the call to actions as well. And if you already have a YouTube URL for your video, you can also add that. Now if I move next, I'll be required to fill in my text assets. You can also add your text assets. Now here you have the flexibility to either enter anything that you would like, say by shoes or anything like that. But if you are creating your campaigns dynamically, which means you are creating multiple campaigns based on different values on your feed, or multiple asset groups based on different values on your feed, you can press the curly braces to insert those attributes that you have used to create different campaigns or different asset groups. So what that means is, if I have a campaign where there is a particular asset group which is, let's say, for hardware and tools, or hardware tools, and let's say the Google category 1 is, let's say, gardening tools. So if I want to say by gardening tools, I could use something like by, and open the curly braces and insert my Google category 1 into that. I could also say directly by Google category 0. So this kind of a template based approach can help you very quickly analyze or very quickly manage creation of assets dynamically using values that are there in your feed. So you can fill this out. I'll quickly skip to the next part. So once you're done with entering your assets, you can go ahead and define the rest of the settings, like feed label or your target country, and you can also choose to switch on or off your URL expansion, final URL expansion. So once you've done that, it will quickly load your suggestions for different campaigns. I'm getting a few errors because uh, I've used dummy values in the for assets, but if you go ahead and use it, it should be fine. And here you can see that we are creating the different campaigns. You can have very quick summary as well, that we are creating 17 campaigns, 65 asset groups, and so on. And you can actually expand and see what these asset groups are, and you can also go ahead and see which product groups or which listing groups, in fact, will be created in each of these asset groups. You can also very quickly view your assets. The assets here are dummy, so you can see that there are errors we are highlighting here. So you can also have a very quick look at that, and you can go ahead and apply these changes to your account, which will create your PMax campaigns very quickly. Now, once these campaigns are created, the next step would be to keep them in sync with changes in your merchant feed. Now, what that means is if you have new, let's say, products coming in or products that are being removed from your campaign, you would also like to create new campaigns, asset groups, or listing groups based on that. So, our tool under shopping campaigns called Product Group Refresher helps you to keep your campaigns in sync with any kind of change that was made to your merchant center account. So you can very quickly, if you have created campaigns using Optmyzr, they are created as part of a campaign group, and you can refresh them using this first option. Or if you have campaigns that you created outside of Optmyzr, you can also use the second option, refresh an existing shopping PMax campaign, which will help you pick out a campaign that you have created outside of Optmyzr. So let's say you created some campaigns in Optmyzr. You can select that and you can move forward. You can choose this campaign group, and it will load suggestions for refreshing or refreshing your campaign or resyncing your campaign with changes in your feed. So you can see there is one campaign in this particular group which has suggestions, and you can see there are 26,000 addition suggestions and removal suggestions for 6,163 as listing groups. You can also expand this to see the different asset groups, and when you move forward, you will be able to see the different campaigns and asset groups here, and you can keep them in sync with your merchant center. You can also automate this, so you don't have to come to this tool and do it manually. So once we have created some campaigns and they have been running for a while, it's now the next step is to go ahead and analyze how they're performing. And using the rule engine, you can basically create some strategies for analyzing the performance of your listing group. So you can go ahead and say add a strategy, you can say create a strategy, and this scope here, the listing group scope, which is applicable to performance max campaigns, will help you. You can build your own strategies to identify, let's say, listing groups that are not performing well, and you can also go ahead and exclude them from your campaign. So I've created a sample strategy here. Something looks something like this. So conversions for the listing groups in the last 90 days are zero, and the cost of this particular listing group is 2.5 times the cost per conversion of the campaign. So this basically means that the listing group has spent enough money but has not gotten convert any conversions in the last 90 days. So, and the action for this is that I'm choosing to exclude these listing groups from performance max campaigns. So if you see, you can very quickly have a list of suggestions. I have two suggestions in this case, and you can see that there are no conversions in the last 90 days, and there is a significant cost associated with these listing groups. So I can very quickly go ahead and apply this to exclude these from my campaigns. And I can also go ahead and automate this strategy to run at, let's say, a weekly or a monthly schedule, even a daily schedule, and find these listing groups and either automatically exclude, or you can also just say send notifications or create an alert for it. Now, this was very quickly about analyzing your listing group performance. But let's say if you also want to analyze the performance of your products, you can also do that using this shopping or PMax product score. Now, this basically helps you to identify if there are any products that are performing in a particular manner and get a report for them. And the cool way, or the coolest thing about this scope is you can also get an aggregated report. So let's say if you have um, a product, or if you have multiple products that are being advertised through different campaigns, then we aggregate the performance data for all of these products and show it to you in one place. I'll just very quickly rename this, and yeah. So here you can see that there are a couple of rules added. You can I'll just remove the second one from now. And I just want to know, let's say, the products that have received conversions more than, let's say, 5, and in the last, let's say, 90 days. So I can create a strategy of that this kind, or create a rule of this kind. And of course, you can see that they are aggregated at the account level. You can also go ahead and split them by campaign, which would mean that if you it would give you a result for each campaign. So the product present in each campaign will be a separate result, and you can just go ahead and create a report for it, and you can just reload load the suggestions and find all of these products and take any kind of decisions accordingly. If you would like to maybe promote these better, or if you would like to maybe look at their titles or so, you can have a very quick overview for those. So, yeah. So here you can see we have 5,000 products which are performing, which have received over 5 conversions in the last 90 days, and you can see the list of their product IDs and the titles, so you can very quickly identify them and take necessary actions as required. So this is all about how you can manage performance max campaigns with Optmyzr. Although there are very few things that you can control, there are still enough levers that you can pull to keep the campaigns in your own control. Hopefully, this session will help you get some ideas to how you can approach doing this. And uh, please feel free to write to Optimizer if you have any questions, or try these tools out. And if you don't have a trial account, you can go ahead and sign up for a free trial at optimizer.com. Thank you for your time. Have a nice rest of the week.